Hello and Assalamu alaikum. This is Affan Ahmed Mirza, your tutor for F4 Law. And I teach F1, F2, F3, and F4 at Abil School of Accountancy as well. Okay. So the agenda of today is basically to give you a complete detailed understanding of our F4 law exam. You might be having many misconceptions that this exam is very tough. It has multiple technicalities that will be taken into account. It will take approximately 2 to 3 months for us to complete this exam, or this is a hard exam to crack. This is all something that is known as a rumor here. Some part of it is correct, but majority of it is just crap. Today's orientation will give you the complete detail of how easy this exam is. The exam does not have any kind of calculation in it, but it has a lot of easy to understand technicalities. Plus, it is a very practical exam for you. Now, people might not understand why am I saying practical? This is completely theory. The theoretical areas, the areas that we're going to study in this particular course, is going to be applied in the practical life at each level. You don't know yet, but you have made many contracts till now subconsciously. Whenever you are having a discussion with someone, whenever you get enrolled in an institution, whenever you are getting promising someone to buy something from them at a particular price, you are getting into a contract with them. And you don't know about it because you're not aware of it. So this particular subject is going to give you the tools through which you can change your scenarios into legal rights and obligations. You can completely know your rights that are with you, that are to be applied or taken from other people as well. So this is not just a course given to you by ACCA as a study material, but it is a practical course that will help you in your practical life a lot. Okay, so everything that we're going to study here, we're going to see complete practical scenarios of how hard they applied into real cases, real people's life. I'm going to give you the complete detail of how this course is going to have an impact on your particular life. Okay, so with this, let's begin with our orientation. What are we going to discuss today? First, we're going to give you an introduction of the complete course, the complete details of what we are having in this course, why are we learning this course, and complete details, etc. Plus the exam structure, what is the marks breakdown, how many questions are there, what marks are the questions, what type of questions do we have, everything is it. Then we have our course outline. Course outline says the complete detailed understanding of the course. Okay. Then we have our reasons for failure that are collected by multiple students' feedback, examiners' feedback, and my personal experience as well. And the techniques that I have used through which we can counter those reasons for failure. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, why is this course made for you? This course is practically designed for you to have the tools to know your rights, to have a grip on your practical life. Like, for example, if you are working in an organization, you need to know what rights do you have. If to fire you on the spot, are they allowed to do that or not? We are going to learn in this topic. We're going to learn in employment law what are the complete details of the responsibilities of the employee and employer as well. Plus the company law. How is the company made? How are you going to work as a corporate a responsible person or a corporate designer or a company designer or company illustrator? If you are starting your own business, this will be helpful for you. If you're working as a legal compliance person, it is working for you as well. So it covers a vast view of all of the aspects of the creation, structure, and the details of how to make a company. Moving on, the contract law. Contract law is one of the most important law in your life and this course as well. In your life, if you are able to understand how a contract is made and what are the legal obligations or the legal requirements present so that it can have a say in the court of law, you will be having a very good future and you can avoid major frauds. There are many people out there who are making contracts, but they're intentionally removing some things that are essential to make a contract sendable, that means into the code. If you are standing with the contract in the code and it is missing the first elements, you are losing the case. So this particular area gives you the deep insights of how can we make a contract reasonable, how can we make the contract be implementable in the code of law. Plus, the last area is dispute resolution. This is an area which is very important in a personal life as well. If there are any married people here, this area will intrigue them a lot. Plus, if there are people who are unmarried and they are working somewhere, they need this area to be focused on a lot. Because one thing we don't know is how to resolve an issue. If we don't know how to resolve the issue, we do two things. We fight or we move away. Both of them are not an option in the business. You can't leave a business away and your investments out and say, I'm going out, I'm going home. You can't do that. Plus, and you can, if you fight, you're just losing your energy. Nothing is going to happen. The only way you can get the best outcome is to resolve the issue and carry on with the business. That is the only viable option we have. So we are going to study in detail how are we going to do that in businesses according to the law as well. Okay. First, we have our exam structure, section A. Section A is worth 70 marks. This is an essential area. In section A, we're going to have MCQs that are worth 2 marks and 1 marks. The main difference between them is the number of options. In 2 marks questions, we have majorly 4 MCQs, 4 options, 4 MCQs, pardon you. 1 MCQ has 4 options. And in section A's 1 mark questions, we have 3 parts for MCQs, ABC, and in 2 marks, we have ABCD. Plus, in 1 mark questions, we have yes or no answers, true or false answers. So it is easier for us to identify the difference. The marking will be given to you, but still explaining to you for your reference. The 2 marker questions are 25 in numbers and 1 marker questions are 20 in numbers. The time allocated per question per mark is 1.2 minutes. So a 2 mark question holds a time duration of 2.4 minutes and a 1 mark question holds a time duration of 1.2 minutes. So in total, if you look at this section, we have to give 84 minutes to this particular section. Now moving on to section B. Section B has 30 marks in total. 30 marks in total means that we have 5 questions and each question has a weightage of 6 marks. Now section B has MTQs. What are MTQs? MTQs are basically the same as MCQs. But what the difference is, in one question there are subsets. That means in one question we are having multiple MCQs that is attached to a small paragraph. So like you might have done in your earlier studies or previous studies in English comprehensions, we were given a passage through which you have to answer multiple questions. So here also each 5 questions hold a passage on which you have a question attached to it. So this question is to be given the answer with reference to the particular passage. So that is the main difference. Nothing else it changes here. Okay? So it is very similar to section 8. Just a passage is added to it and you can easily attempt it. Now moving on to the overalls. The overall total marks are 100. The passing marks are 50. The total time is 2 hours and the passing ratio is 78 to 82%. But I would say one thing to you. Never ever look at the passing ratio for exam before attempting. This is one of the most useless things to do if you are looking at the passing ratio and determining whether you will pass the exam or not. An exam holding a 30% passing ratio doesn't mean that you cannot pass it easily in the first attempt. It only means that people who have given the exam, 70% have failed and 30% have passed. You can be among the 30% if you practice daily, if you learn properly, if you study hard. There is nothing that can decide your outcome of result instead of your hard work. If you are working hard, if you're consistent, if you're working on the syllabus, you have a grip on the syllabus, nothing can fail you. This passing ratio means nothing to you. Don't ever compare your capabilities and your passing probability by this percentage. So it is a very useful thing. We never looked at it when you are giving an exam. So I would recommend you to do the same. Next, our course outline. So our course outline is divided into 8 sections. Okay. First of all, essential element of a legal system. Now, essential element is basically how a law is formed. Like you might have heard from your parents or your elders that you are born this way. When you were born, you used to do this. We grew when you were growing up. We used to do this with you to transform you into this person you are today. So this is the complete story we're going to study in our section A, in the essential element of legal system, where we are going to see how the law was formed in the initial days and how it has transformed these days into the law that we have right. So what are the procedures? What are the people who are interpreting and analyzing and discussing the law with us? So everything is there. Then we have the law of obligation. It tells us what is the obligation we have towards the people, towards the society in general, according to the law and according to the obligations that are in ethical responsibilities. If you have an ethical responsibility, it also falls in the obligation, but mainly in obligation that or the law of tort. Law of tort basically tells us that even if you are not legally linked with the person, you have no connection with the person, and you cause some kind of damage to that person, you are legally obliged to fulfill the responsibility of that person. So if I'm driving a car, I'm driving fast, I am negligent here. I was not driving carefully. I was rushing my car and I hit a person. So now, according to law of tort, I am responsible for the person's medical treatment. So this is how law of obligation works. The second part of it is law of contract. Law of contract basically tells us that we have a contract. What are the essential elements to be taken into account? For example, if I'm making a contract, there should be an offer. Offer means to ask someone or to sell the product to us or buy our product. That is an offer. I'm offering something to someone else. Okay. Then there is acceptance. Acceptance is their agreement to me, their affirmation towards me regarding the particular offer that I made without any conditions. This is an offer and acceptance. Then when we combine it with our consideration, what is consideration? Consideration is asking in something in return of giving something. So if I'm asking the other party to give me a certain amount, if I'm giving him my motorbike, this is called consideration. So this consideration is essential in a contract, without which we cannot form a legal contract. So this comes into play, consideration. Then a legal formation or a legal obligation to pay or to continue the project or complete the project is the intention to create a legal obligation. If I want to create a legal obligation, I will have all the factors incorporated there and made into a formal written contract, so that in the days when I have a dispute, I can go to the court and sort the problem out. So this is a law of obligation basically. Then we have formation and constitution of business organization and management administration and regulation of companies. This area basically focuses on how a company is made. The initial, how do we file a registration? How do we name the company? What are the legal requirements for us to start a company? What should we do first? What is the second priority? Everything is listed here. The law of obligation, formation of a company, and management of an administration of a company holds 60% of the paper. Okay, so 60% marks of the paper are allocated to this particular area. So it is very important for you to focus on this area. But if you are leaving out the other areas and thinking those are not worth it, you are making the biggest mistake of your life. Because in section A, majority of the questions are from essential of legal systems. So section A has a strong hold and on the section A topics. So you have to be very careful there. If you are looking at the three topics and leaving the 40% marks, it can be causing you a lot of damage because the examiner is changing the pattern day by day. So if the pattern changes and you get a question out of these 3 or 4 topics that are left, you are going to regret it. So we are going to cover each and everything in detail, and we are going to have our complete syllabus covered along with all the details. So management of a company, how many directors are there? What is the auditor? Who is going to be auditor? How do we assign auditor? What are the roles of director? What are the obligations? What are the things that they should be prohibited from doing? So everything is discussed here. The meetings are also discussed. Then we have capital financing. Capital financing basically focuses on how a company can raise a finance, what are the limitations of raising the finance, and how are they going to raise capital of finance, that is the raising of money from the equity side or a debt side, whatever is possible. We're going to discuss what are the limitations, what are the legal obligations upon them if they are going to raise a finance, also raise money from the market, how are they going to do that? And if they're doing it, are they liable to notify someone else regarding the particular loan that they have taken or any kind of capital they have raised? So this is going to be studied here. Plus we have corporate fraudulent criminal behavior. If you have seen some Netflix series, you might have an idea of fraudulent activities, but we are going to see how corporates do this and what are the repercussions they have to face, what are the problems they face, what are the obligations they have if they come out with a legal fraud or a fraud is discovered within the organization. Then moving on to insolvency law. Insolvency law basically tells us if a company is unable to pay off their debts, that is insolvency. They are not solvent. That means they are not having enough funds to pay off the debts they have. So now they have to do what? Is they have to liquidate. If a company is insolvent, then they are liable to pay off the people by stripping off their company and selling off their assets. If they're selling off their assets, this means they have to do it in a certain way. There are people who are to be paid first. Not being biased is the first key here. So law gives you some regulations, some terminologies, some obligations, some ways through which we can insolvent or strip down a company. If we can declaring insolvency, there are certain procedures that we have to follow. We're going to discuss them in detail here. So the complete course covers multiple diverse areas in which individually and in corporate structures, you're going to benefit a lot. In life, you're working at a place, you should know your rights. So employment law helps there. In law of obligation, you're having a contract with someone. You're being damaged, you are the aggrieved party here. So you have the legal rights to get a compensation here. So law of obligation is going to tell you about that. If you're forming a company, even if you're an owner or you're working somewhere, the restrictions, the compliance that you have to make are important here. Then we have the corporate fraudulent activities. If you know what a corporate fraud is, you can only identify it then. So if you see a fraud happening, if you know the knowledge of it, you can uncover it, reveal it, or stop it in your personal business as well as in another company, in your personal life as well. So this area will help you there. And in case of insolvency, what is the legal action we should take? That will be discussed in our last section. So this will help us in our complete course preparation. So this was an overview of our syllabus. Then the common pitfalls we have. When you're talking about the pitfalls, it basically tells us the areas where students struggle. So the first area is that people tend to just memorize what is given to you. If I'm giving you notes, you're just memorizing them. You're not understanding the concept behind it. Not asking the question, why is a problem? Why is it happening and how is it happening? This is the problem that students have. They don't ask this. They are saying it is written, so it is written. It will be true. So we'll just remember it and we'll write in the exam. So this area, when the examiner changes the wordings, they throw in some technicalities, you fail. This is the problem number one. Number two is poor time management. Poor time management is a very big problem in many of your colleagues or many of your people, friends giving the exams, any exam. Ask them what is the first and foremost problem. It is time management. The only problem students face that is all around the exams because you are not practicing with time restrictions. If you're not practicing with time restrictions, you're not able to pass the exam because in the exam you don't know how to manage your time. You're given no time restraints, so you will not be able to pass the exam or complete the exam. If you're not completing the exam, there's a high probability that you will fail. Then you have insufficient preparations. Why is this happening? This is happening because many people tend to focus on the 60% of the syllabus and 10 of the 100%. They're saying that let's cover the main areas, leave the separate areas that are not much important, and we'll pass the exam with 60% marks. But that doesn't happen. If the 60% is coverage is there from there, you are going to lose marks there. So you need the rest of the 40% as well to pass your exam. So if you're leaving that out, you're making the biggest mistake of your lifetime. Okay. Then we have exam nerves. What is exam nerves? Exam nerves is basically, you might have faced it right now. You might have faced it in your past exams as well. The main problem is that people tend to practice less and rely on their memory a lot. So if you are practicing less and you are thinking that you can do it easily, that doesn't matter. In the exam, when you see the question paper, you're going to be afraid of it. If you don't have a very good comfort level with examiners type of questions, you're not going to exactly give the answer that you intend to give in the exam. If something new comes up to me, even if I am a teacher, if something extraordinary comes up to me in life or in any place, I'm going to get nervous. I'm going to get pressurized there. I'm going to be blank here. So if you are familiarized with the exam pattern, if you have a lot of practice here, if you know the concepts that you have learned very well, then you are going to be very chill in exams. You're going to be relaxed in the exams. You're going to go sit there as if you have passed the exams earlier today. So there is no need to worry if you are practicing with us. Okay. So the examiners can be controllable. Each of these factors are controllable by us. So we can all eliminate them by the techniques that I have designed for you. What are techniques? The techniques are, first of all, I have provided a study plan so that you know what to do and what not to do. If you have a study plan, like for example, you have a restriction at your home that you cannot enter the house after 10. So you will try your best to move into your house before 10. So the study plan works in a similar way. We're going to reinforce you, and tell you again and again to follow the study plan, and inshallah you will. So it will be beneficial for you. Plus the pre-recorded content is present with you for all times. The lectures are designed in a way that are easy for you to take and understand and develop a concept with. The length of the lectures are from 30 to 40 minutes at max, so that if you are free in any place, in your lunch breaks, in your during your work, you have whenever you have a spare time, you can come up to the website and hear up a lecture. So this will be easier for you to develop a study plan, take the lectures, retain the information. And we know nowadays Instagram and Facebook and the other social media platforms have become our oxygen masks. So after every 10 to 20 minutes, we need an oxygen pump up in our life. So we open up our social media. So the lectures are out of 20 minutes, so you can complete the lecture, take a break, go scroll through Instagram, Facebook, etc., and come up and take another lecture. So this will help you in retaining the information, studying with your social activities as well, and implementing it there as well. So the lectures are of flexible timings, 30 to 40 minutes, easier for you to understand. I have incorporated examples that are practical to your life, examples that are easily understandable, and so show you the implementation of the concept on a scenario. So this will help you immensely in section B, because the complete questions are on scenario-based questions. So when you have the tools, when you have the pre-hand practice of how to apply a case onto the scenario, you will be able to do it in the exam very fluent. So section B preparation is very easy with us. We go along with it from the start. So in the end, you don't have to practice the scenario-based questions separately. You can do them in one go because you have seen the practical application with the course as well. Plus, we have 8 to 10 tests that I'm going to personally check and give a feedback upon. We have 2 mocks that are going to be checked. We have live revision classes in which we are going to discuss all the queries you have. We are going to have a complete revision of the syllabus. We are having an active WhatsApp group in which we can discuss all the queries you have in real time. I am present there 24/7, and the admin is there as well to clarify any of the problems that you have. The notes, questions, everything is going to be provided by me, and inshallah, we're going to have a very fruitful outcome from this learn. Okay. The thing I want from you is just practice, listen to lectures very carefully, note down the things that I'm explaining so that you can revise them very quickly, very fluently. If you are practicing my questions, if you are getting my tests and mocks on time, if you are studying and analyzing and memorizing the notes with understanding, I can promise you can pass this exam within a month. Because I have the lectures of approximately 40 to 50 lectures and keeping an average length of 30 minutes, the course is about 20 to 25 hours. Okay. So 25 hours, this plan is set. If you set a 25 hours plan, you give 2 hours per day. That means you can complete the syllabus within 13 to 15 days. Keep 5 to 7 days for your practice, the mocks, etc. So 20 to 25 days is more than enough for your preparation, and within a month you can completely give your exam if you give a little more time to this exam. So this is a very simple exam. This has nothing to do with the rumors that we have that it is very difficult. The terminologies are difficult, but we will interpret them for you. We will give you easy examples, easy definitions for them, so you will remember them with the lectures as well. So nothing to worry about. All your queries will be handled. So I guess till now the problems that you are facing, the ambiguities you are having would have been cleared. If not, do contact me. Do contact the admin. The numbers are given on the next slide. We will clarify all your problems. I can personally guide you as well if you have any problem. So don't hesitate to contact us. We will be there for you. And a quote that I like is success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and your hard work will pay off. I'll tell you an example just briefly so that you can see that this is an example that is applied on my life as well. When I was completing my O and A levels, the first thing I was afraid of and I used to run from was studies. Whenever I used to be going towards studying, I used to have a book open. I am an Olympic sleeper for that. You can check up, you can have a record that whenever I open up a book, I used to sleep within 10 to 15 minutes. I have an Olympic record for that. But as the reality hits, a practical life starts, you start to realize that it is important for you. So I started studying consistently. I graduated from my university having a very good CGPA. I completed my ACCA and my studies are continuous and I became a teacher. I started helping out students develop their careers as well. So if you do something you don't like consistently, as if you do it a thing that you love the most, you will have success. If you love something and you do it, that is just your love. If you don't love something and you do it consistently as if you love it, you are doing hard work and you will succeed in your life, inshallah. So keep studying consistently, practice hard, study hard, and we are there for you. Okay. So thank you for attending this orientation. That's all from my side. Enjoy learning and hope to see you in our regular classes. Allah Hafiz.